Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan Battle video. So, we got a pretty big W here, finally. This is going to be the closing book on the Global Dokkan 2024 sync. With Jiren, and with also the final two stages of the Universal Survival Saga Supreme Magnificent Battle, a fight against UI Goku and a fight against Goku and Frieza. Goku and Frieza fight obviously being the hardest fight in the game by far. With these added into the game, we are now going to be completely caught up. We have everything exactly the same, and then moving forward, everything is exactly the same, which is going to be really good. So, I mean, this is awesome news that Jiren is coming out right now. There's no negative here. This is what we wanted. Now, what's very interesting to this, though, here, let me actually pull up, I'm going to just pull up the Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks banner from last year. All right, guys, so this is what we're looking to pull up right here. So, this was the Carnival Omega Shenron banner, last Tanabata. So, this is 2023 Tanabata, right? Which, of course, Jiren, actually, I should pull up Jiren, too, my bad, hold on. Let me pull up Jiren as well. All right, so this is the Tanabata 2023 banner, right here. Double rates, Carnival, Omega Shenron. Now, the reason this is important is, remember, this is what Jiren is this year. So, Omega shows up on Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks' banner. This was the Christmas Carnival last year, and Omega Shenron is there. Now, remember, Omega was obviously not on the banner for Global. Now, what we're curious about is... You know, so then here's the Jiren banner. This was the Jiren banner that dropped in July this year, right? Is Global going to drop this banner and Gotenks' banner side by side? Or are they dropping this? Are they doing this? If they just put Jiren on Gotenks' banner, that to me will be a nice end towards the nonsense of the sync. Because again, I would say the sync... They couldn't have really handled it worse, right? If we would have sat there, you know, when the Global is gonna get caught up, right? When the Vegito Blue, you know, Infusion Zamasu, Dokkan Now / live stream reveal, and it's like, okay, like what's the worst possible way they could handle the sync? And like, if what we would have said back then is probably like what happened, right? Where it's like, they wait until the last second and then they just hammer banner after banner after banner every single week for Global. Like, that's probably like the worst possible thing, and that's what they did. So, it would be good if right here at the end, rather than Jiren getting his own banner, he's just on Gotenks' banner. But I would just like to advise that is a very optimistic look at this, when Dokkan themselves, for quite a while, has not really been so pleasant when it comes to the global sync, right? They have not exactly been very kind. Like, you know, it's every single week. Like, now we're getting UI and Sal Max, and, you know, Beast was last week and stuff like that. So, you know, you do want to kind of keep that in mind, right? Like, how they've kind of just, like, been spamming these banners nonstop after nonstop for global. Now, Jiren. Let's talk about Jiren. I actually did not pull Jiren up. God damn it. All right, so here's Jiren himself. I mean, he is a very good unit, right? Now, at the start, this guy is not really so crazy. In the really nasty fights like Gogeta and Janemba, they can kill him, right? Like, right away. But his first turn, he does have this, which I've found to work very effectively in the Gogeta and Janemba fights, because they don't attack that much per turn. So it's not very difficult to get Jiren in like slot 2 with one attack there, or slot 3 with one attack there, and you just cancel their ability to attack anyway, right? But this guy's not really so great. And he also is really bad for the Goku and Frieza fight, because phase 2, which you're pretty much always going to be there on turn 2 in that Goku and Frieza fight, 17 locks. So if Jiren starts out in slot 4 or slot 7, you can just load into auto death, right? Like, no possible counterplay to it besides using items or hidden potential system dodge, right? Because this guy is weak in slot 1. He's not like a slot 1 character. Now, his transformation condition is pretty good. It's literally just his second turn. No matter what, it's just his second turn is when he transforms. This guy, to me, is supremely busted, because as long as you get 5 orbs, he cannot take damage. Like, ever. anywhere. He can't take damage. With 5 orbs, this guy cannot be hurt, no matter what. So that's obviously good. 100% damage reduction in like slot 1 works very effectively. Or, potentially we could have him in slot 2 or 3. If we have him in slot 2 and 3, that's where he activates this monster support. But oftentimes, the support is not nearly as substantial as having a character in slot 1 that has 100% damage reduction, right? Like that's pretty much like the way I use him. But when I'm using this character, a lot of times these days, I don't even go into full power Jiren. This is where he can be very, very effective, right? We can kind of just like put him wherever we want. He's going to have this ridiculous, crazy damage reduction that he's going to have access to. Now, we can also transform into full power Jiren. I find this guy to be a little bit underwhelming. I really wish he was stronger defensively in slot 1, right? His very first turn, like 70% damage reduction, it sounds good. Like you just say like, yeah, 70% damage reduction, but like he's not passively guarding, and he does have a scouter his first turn, but that scouter, the value for that is not the craziest. I certainly could see, like, we could be going up against 17 and Golden Frieza. We could transform into full power Jiren, look at the scouter, see where the super attack is, and then reset and keep him in a standby. Like, that's probably the best way to use him. A lot of times, your full power Jiren, Rainbow, Max Link, stuff like that. I mean, he's going to do, like, 40 million super, that's a guaranteed crit. It's like the way he does damage is designed to get past Goku and Frieza's damage threshold. That's kind of the point, right? Like he's not doing a lot of little attacks and stuff like that. Like people will, oh my god, like Tech UI is so crazy, but like Tech UI against Goku and Frieza just has 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, whereas Jiren just does this one big attack and does a lot of damage. But the point is, if Goku and Frieza, if they have their big damage up where they're supering for 5.6 million, Jiren can get walloped through that. Like, he's not impervious to getting smacked by that. And he does get this attack buff every time he gets supered, which is certainly good, but I don't know. Like, I just don't really find this guy moving the needle that much. A character who probably is going to be in, like, slot 2 or 3 that just does a big attack set and stuff like that, not the craziest. Not nearly as good as what this guy is doing. And it is pretty easy to go into this guy. So there's that. There's kind of like, I guess, my evaluation of Jiren. He doesn't have any restrictions or anything like that. So it is very easy to just run him wherever, by the way. Run him on Transformation Boost, run him on Universal Survival Saga, run him on Battle of Fate or Super Bosses. He works very well in all these setups because, again, you're not really going to get anything with more value than 100% damage reduction impervious to damage. Right? Like, it just matters a lot. It's very, very good to have. So, there's Jiren. Keep in mind, again, Gotenks is going to be coming out as well. Here's the actual, like, events that are coming, that are coming to the game. So, JP has these two, but if we look at the global one, we, of course, have the Space Traveling Warriors Extreme Super Battle Road stage. We still have that's the Kid Buu. That's Kid Buu, right? Pure Destruction and Carnage. I believe that's the Kid Buu Dokkan event. I guess I should double check, but I'm pretty sure that's Kid Buu. I'll double check, yeah. Yeah, it's Kid Buu. Kid Buu, it's going to be probably against the STR Kid Buu. So they really are all over the place, right? We had Buhan Dokkan Fest, Super Saiyan 3 Goku Majin Vegeta EZAs, Ultimate Gohan Super EZA, Kid Buu Burst Mode, and then a Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. So they kind of just jumped all over the Buu saga, right? And then, we have the Kid Buu Burst Mode. And then here we go. We get the last 2 stages finally added for the Supreme Magnificent Battle to Global Dokkan. Now, what we have here, essentially, there's 3 major things. There's 2 big fights, and then there's 1 very challenging mission. Does the UI Goku fight does not have a mission. It's just beat it once. There's no crazy mission, then beat, stage 6, and then, clear all stages, and you get that. But then we get to the real nastiness. Oh, there is the accelerated battle one. Oh, when I did the video for that, I think I used Physical Super Vegito. Yeah, Physical Super Vegito can work well, right? Because he can tank as long as he's not going to get hit by a super attack. But there's this. this is a little challenging right here for Universe 11 characters. Now, you do not need Jiren or Toppo. I mean, I'm not going to scroll through my Twitter, but there is a lot of Japanese players who were able to get this done with, like, Tech Jiren and, like, AGL Margarita and some of these, like, very easy-to-obtain characters. But obviously, you know, using items, and it is definitely a real challenge. This is a challenging mission, because the problem, really, is that the Universe 11 characters don't really work super well. Coquette is pretty good in there. Margarita is helpful. Remember that dodge doesn't work against the 17 and Golden Frieza phase. But Dispo, this is something. Dispo and Jiren, Tech Jiren, both suck for this fight, which is really annoying to me. They dropped this very challenging fight, and they gave us two characters who don't work really well. Now, you guys are going to begin to learn this, but it's difficult to get hit in the Goku and Frieza fight before you get to 17 and Golden Frieza. Because the Gohan and Frieza fight, or phase, you will kill this boss in like one turn every single time. And they don't really attack that much. And then 17 is locking your rotations and stuff like that. So it's like, you don't really just have the luxury to put the character that needs to get hit in front of the attacks oftentimes against this guy. And then this boss will just fucking kill you outright. So it is very difficult to get the hits that you need. So Jiren is a character that needs to take a lot of hits, and then he has this like absolute ridiculous horse shit right here. This is one of the worst design abilities on a character we've seen all year. This right here. It's god awful. So it just becomes annoying using this guy in that fight, I've found. And then Dispo is just like, damn, like he just almost outright sucks. Because like, you know, 17 could lock him in slot 1 and kill him pretty easily. Dodge doesn't work against 17 and Golden Frieza. He's, you know, dodge is what he uses to get around, like, these big boss supers. He does have type advantage against them, to be fair. But then also, like, he does a lot of supers. Like, his thing is that he supers a bunch. Usually, he's just going to be doing 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 against Goku and Frieza. You could, of course, you know, get his damage above the level to where you will be able to damage Goku and Frieza, but it's just not very realistic in that fight to get it. So again, I found that Dispo and Tech Jiren aren't even really that good in the fight, which is pretty annoying, since those are some of the specific Universe 11 buffs they gave us for the goddamn fight in the first place. This UI Goku fight is really not challenging at all. This guy is pretty pathetic turn 1. I mean, he's supering for 1.4 with this 10% attack passive. Gogeta's supering for mid 4 millions turn 1. So, it's like, this UI Goku is like fodder. This guy is interesting in that he specifically can only super attack slot 2. But, I mean, obviously that's very easy, right? All of his hardest attacks are in, like, you know, every character's best defensive position, slot 2. So, like, this is a very easy fight, especially after, you know, the Gogeta and Janemba fight and the, you know, exciting heroine battle and all those different events have come out throughout the year. Now, this is still definitely the hardest fight in the game. Now, there's no one thing in particular that makes this the hardest fight or the most toxic fight, which is, I think, what leads to its difficulty, right? Because, like, Fusion Zamasu was so hard because of his AoE. You know, I guess, to be fair, Red Zone Broly, there's two things about him that made him very challenging. Dodge canceling plus his AoE super. The reason this is so hard is because you'll go in and 17 locks, and you're going to be against this guy on turn 2 almost, you know, I'd say 98% of the time. You're against 17 turn 2. So you could have a weak character that just gets locked in slot 1, insta-killed, and you're done. 17 doesn't hit that hard, but it's like he hits hard enough with his locking that he could lock the inopportune character and kill them, right? That's the point of 17. Then you go into this behemoth. The 3 bosses that have killed me the most, and you know, since the Red Zone meta started, is AoE STR Broly from the 7th anniversary movie boss Red Zone, Fusion Zamasu with his AoE, and 17 and Golden Frieza. Their super attack, they've killed me in slot 3 so many times, and they have dodge canceling, and they're supering for, you know, basically 3 million turn 1, and they're getting stronger every single turn. This boss is so annoying. They hit so hard for being a dodge canceling boss in here. And then you get the Goku and Frieza. I think this is what most people will have at the front of their brain, but I'm telling y'all, this oftentimes ends up being a gatekeeper for many teams, the 17 and Golden Frieza. So here, you have to do 10 million damage or you do 0 damage. To give you guys an example, that's a 15 million attack stat with crit will give you about the 10 million that you need on a type neutral character. An AGL character can be a bit below that and they'll damage because they have true type advantage, but that's about a 15 million attack stat with crit. So like Tech UI Goku and all of his counters are typically just doing 0. If Tech UI Goku will triple super, then after that, and he's got like all those, you know, Tournament of Power and God links up, then he will be able to damage him with his counters. So what I consider the Tech Pan slot, where it's slot 1, but like after your character attacks, if Goku and Frieza put like 7 attacks right there, Tech UI Goku can wipe them out like by himself. But that's obviously not like a common occurrence. So you need characters that are doing like guaranteed crits, AGL characters, stuff like that. AGL UI Goku is one of the characters that trashes them the hardest, but he gets massacred by this boss right here. 17 in Golden Frieza, right? And then once they fall below 50% HP, at that point, they begin to do 5.6 million damage is what their damage is. It becomes ludicrous. They always, literally, 100% of the time Goku and Frieza super attack before you attack in slot 1. They do that by design, and then they lower your attack. This is not like, it's not like this, like, oh my god, that, like, they supered us and now our attack set went down by 4 million. Like, it's not that big of a deal, but it can still be very annoying. I just want to show you guys, there is one thing you can always see when they have their, yeah, here's auto. It's, again, the fight is a lot of RNG with like 17's locking and where 17 and Golden Frieza super attack. So, you know, a lot of runs are going to look a lot different every time. What I just wanted to show, I know we could show it in the Boo Long video because we do have him. Yeah, okay. Take a look at Goku and Frieza up top right here. You can tell when they're under 50%. Like sometimes the HP bar is a little bit close. You can't really like just know at a glance. You'll know if their big attack is up because they have this attack buff symbol and then the defensive down symbol. So like if we take a look at what they look like just turn 1, you could, yeah, okay, yep, bye Paragus, see you later. Pod meant for one person, huh? You see, like they don't, like that's not there. So like then once they're below 50%, then they get the little attack buff symbol and they got the little defensive debuff down right there. So that's how you could tell. Overall, I would say, again, it is a challenging fight. Now, after a lot of the Worldwide Download Celebration characters, a lot of these characters are very good for this fight. Tech Carnival Broly, Goku, Gohan, and Trunks can be very good most of the time. The Family Kamehameha can just outright one-shot Goku and Frieza. So there's a lot of options. So, like, this is not, like, oh my god, like, we can't even beat it. Like, no, it's nothing like that. The Universe 11 mission is going to be very challenging, but, you know, being able to beat it is not going to be the biggest deal ever, right? So there's that fight, but it's definitely the hardest fight in the game, and definitely what I would consider the standard fight. So this is good. Global's got this, and I mean, we're probably not going to get a fight that's stronger than this until maybe, like, you know, like January 1st, or, excuse me, February 1st, like around then. Maybe one of the first 10th anniversary fights could be hard enough, but more than likely this fight will get replaced towards the middle or end of February. I would almost imagine for sure we'll get a harder fight at some point in February is probably what's going to happen. So, all right, there we go. Global's finally getting the last 2 stages right here, including the hardest fight, which is really good. And then Big Daddy Jiren is also coming as well. If he's on his own separate banner, skip. If he's on the banner of Gotenks, I'll tell you all to skip as well. You want to summon for Anniversary over Jiren and Gotenks. But Gotenks does, to me, look very good. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks, guys, for watching. And I'll catch all of you angels next time. Mwah!